the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox with another exciting episode of Nashville 2. Well, time will tell whether it's exciting or not, but I think you'll enjoy our guest. He's got a great story to tell. And so remember that Nashville 2 is all about you. You are Nashville 2, so let's tell your story. What do we need to know? So if you know somebody that needs to be a guest on Nashville 2 and they have a story to tell, we'd love to have them. Tell them to reach out to me. And today I'd like to introduce our sponsor. Our sponsor for Nashville 2 moving forward is Trade Bank of Nashville. Trade Bank is a business-to-business barter exchange. It helps businesses trade the things they have for the things they want or need without spending cash. It's like barter for the modern era. They use an app and all, and it's pretty sweet. So if you've not heard of it, you can definitely look in the show notes, reach out to me, and I can hook you up with everything about Trade Bank of Nashville, and we are so excited to have them as our sponsor. Bartering during an inflationary period of time or a recession, man, that's the way to go. Who doesn't like to not have to spend cash? Check out nashville.tradebank.com. And now, my special guest. I'm Special Ed, and he's my special guest, and his name is Rod Sampson. And he owns the Batteries Plus franchise in Spring Hill, Tennessee. And Rod, I think you service Spring Hill, Franklin, probably as far as people want to drive in from. You'll take their money and get them a good battery, I'd say.
Yes, sir. I want to first start by saying thank you so much for having me on. But yeah, we service Franklin, Spring Hill, Columbia, and the rest of Maury County.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show. We met through the Spring Hill Experience trade show, I think it was. Is that what it was called?
Yes,
I think
sir,
so.
It was.
Yep.
I was just standing there doing my thing, and this funny speaking guy came by.
Yeah, that's it. That's
himself.
me, funny speaking. So, Rod, how did you decide that, were you one of those kids that sat around and said, I'm going to own a business, I'm going to make it a battery franchise, and how did that happen?
So the short story is that after years in corporate world, investing in my 401k and learning to invest, I think I reached a point to where my investments were doing pretty well. And for me, a natural progression was what's the next step? And for me, from an investment standpoint, I really look for optionality. And so the next level of optionality was kind of owning my own business, which was something that I did not do at that time. And so I started looking around for business ideas, ways to invest my money. And I was sitting around just messing around on my Google feed, and all of a sudden, Batteries Plus marketing ad popped up.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest with you, I had no clue Batteries Plus was a thing when the ad popped up.
Right.
But I'm kind of I'm a techie, a geek by nature, and I love batteries and technology in general. So I pressed on the link. I read the marketing opportunity, looked at the Batteries Plus spiel, and there was a contact number where I could reach I think it was the development team.
Right.
And I called them. One thing led to another. And before I know it, I was talking to my wife saying, hey, I think I want to start a Batteries Plus franchise.
Well, and I've done some research. I've owned businesses since I was 15. So I've owned multiple franchises. I've started businesses, sold businesses. Businesses have failed, collapsed. I've done the gamut, right, since I was 15, both in Australia, here in the US, and a little bit in the UK. I've heard that Batteries Plus has a really good training program, and they train their owners and they train their staff really, really well. Would you agree with that?
I'll get back to the training part, but the support from
Right.
Batteries Plus as a corporation and a franchisor is absolutely remarkable.
Okay.
But yeah, the training that they provide is spectacular. It's very comprehensive. Both my daughter and I, my daughter's the store manager. She runs the show for me
Cool.
and does an awesome job, by the way. But
Yeah, you got to say
uh,
that, don't you? Like I tell how many daughters do you have?
I have one.
One, right? So she's your favorite daughter too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I've got 3 kids and I've got 1 daughter and 2 sons, and I tell her all the time, "You're my favorite daughter, Dad." She's 24. Dad, and I've told her this all her life, and she said, "Dad, I'm your only daughter." I said, "Well, you're still my favorite, right? You know, we
Yeah.
can use that." And the boys
Yep.
go, "Well, what does that make us?" I said, "Well, do you want to be my favorite daughter?" And they go, "No." So there you go. So I love working with family. Some people say I could never work with family, and yeah, there's challenges. It brings a different set of challenges, but different people handle it differently. So how long's the shop been open? Was it an existing franchise that you bought, or a fresh, brand new one?
So our Batteries Plus here in Spring Hill was a new build out,
Right.
and the build out started approximately in April, approximately April of 2021. We opened in October. We opened October 6th of 2021. We had our grand opening a month later, and now we're going strong on approximately 10 or so months.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
it's definitely been some challenge. Go ahead.
And the thing that I didn't know about Batteries Plus, you guys also do phone screen repair and that sort of thing there as well, right?
Absolutely. We do a bunch of device repair. And I think for a new store, I think we're holding our own, doing pretty
Good.
well with the device repair. And it doesn't just stop at batteries and screens, but we can also do the components inside of the phone, such as charge ports, um, home buttons, speakers. So there's a lot of the components also that we can
Right.
fix for
And I
our
think
customers.
the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I think some people don't think about that, right? They don't think about coming to a Batteries Plus store to do phone repair or device repair, or maybe they do, and I'm the only one that doesn't, right?
You bring up a good point, because we had once we put our lawn signs out, there were 2 things that happened. One, we would get the customers that came in and said, "Hey, we didn't know y'all did key fob programming," or, "Hey, I'm glad y'all put those signs out there because I didn't even know I could come here and get my cell phone repaired." So
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that do not know, or I guess there's more that know now, but there was a lot of people that did not know that they could come to Batteries Plus and get their phone repaired.
So when we met, I was wearing that little video name tag. It's like $500 worth, right? And
Right.
mine quit on me. So maybe I could bring it to your store, and your techs could pop it open and see if it's just a simple battery replacement or if it's more complicated. I didn't think about that.
You should bring it on by and let us see if we
Yeah.
can
Okay.
change
That's
the
it.
battery in it.
Can you know a guy? He can hook me up, right?
I know 2
Okay.
guys and 2 girls
There you
that can
go.
hook you up.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I wanted to. I wanted the hookup. So, okay. So, Rod, you've been running that about 10 months. I know you're doing some corporate work too. Are you gonna go full time into the store, or are you gonna look at opening additional stores? What are you gonna do with that?
So I do have a W-2 job that I'm working also,
Love the
but
side hustle, man. Love the side hustle.
but I think in about 3 or so months, I'll be done with the W-2 job. I will be able to put all of my focus into Batteries Plus. And to start, I hope to hit the ground running, trying to work on the commercial side of the business.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so there's a huge um, portion of business out there that is available for the store. We do pretty well on the retail. We are struggling a little bit on the corporate side. And so I'm hoping that once I get my feet on the ground and can spend some more time in the store, that we'll be able to bolster that corporate, that commercial business.
Well, I have a great tip for you. I found these on Amazon. Of course, you can find everything on Amazon. They're a little plastic foot like you would use in a shoe store to display shoes, right? You put the little plastic feet in the shoes.
Uh-huh.
You can buy them for like $10. So you put them in a box full of peanuts, right? And then you lay a letter on top that says, and this is for your corporate customer that you can't get past the gatekeeper. And you say, hey, my name's Rod Sampson with Batteries Plus. I'm just trying to get a foot in the door. Could I get a meeting with you and show you, I just want to be totally transparent because they're a see-through foot, and who's not going to give you the meeting? Like everybody will give you the meeting, even if it's just to have a laugh with you and say, I'm not interested, but I just wanted to meet the man behind the shoe. And listeners and viewers, feel free to do it. Tell them you got it off Nashville2.com from Ed Fox. And I love doing marketing things like that. They're fun and hilarious.
Hey, Ed, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to tell everybody I got it off of Nashville too.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, okay. So how long have you been around the Spring Hill, Columbia, Nashville metro area, for lack of a better term?
So I guess since you asked that question, I'll just go a little bit further back.
Okay.
And I'll start with a little teeny tiny Rod.
Okay.
And...
You were born at a very early age. We can start there.
Yes.
And work forward.
Yes. And so I was actually born, and a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them this, but I was actually born here in the South. I was born in Alabama.
Okay.
I was born in Anniston, Alabama. It's about 3.5 hours south of here. And when we were 3, my family moved to Detroit. And I lived in Detroit until I was 13. But it's funny because I claim Detroit as my hometown, not
Right.
Illinois, which is where I lived for the next 20 or so years after I left Detroit. But
Right.
I have a theory, and that is I developed my sports allegiances when I was in Detroit, and that's why I claim them as my hometown.
Right.
So yeah,
Yep.
I'm hardcore Detroit, hardcore Michigan fan.
Yep. There you go. Well,
And so-
similar story for me. I was born and raised in the western suburbs of Sydney, Australia, and until 13, and then I left to move north. And I claim my sports allegiance is the Penrith Panthers, which are a rugby league team, so football team. And I'm the same as you. I say I'm from Penrith, but I moved to Grafton, which is a little country town, when I was 13. We lived there till I was 21. Then I moved to Brisbane, which is a big city in the northeast. So yeah, I'm the same. My allegiance is where my first 13 years were, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's funny
And
how that
so-
happens. It's when we're watching Stranger Things, right, on Netflix. Although I'm not watching this season, it's a little creepy, scared me. But the last season, like all that retro 80s stuff, right? That's my era.
Okay. So continuing on with this long story
Yep.
about my origins. So when I was 38 or so, I left the Northwest Illinois area and moved down to Tennessee. I got a job at a company called they used to be called Calsonic Conze. They've since changed their name, but I'm a lifelong process and applications engineer, and that's
Okay.
what I came down here for. And so I've been down here since 2013. So it's basically 9 years I've been down here, and both my wife and I, we love it a lot. I enjoy the hot weather. I tell everybody that, hey, you will never, ever, ever hear me complain about the heat down here, because I moved away from the Midwest. And the reason I moved away is because I was tired of the Midwest winters. So I'm not going to complain about the heat when I'm down here.
I'm with you, bud. I'm used to 120-degree heat in the Kansas summer, and before that, I was used to the heat in Australia. You can keep the snow, you can keep all of that. I'm staying. I love Nashville, actually, which is a lot of fun, and the people are friendly. That true Southern hospitality has been great.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you're not working, what's one of the hidden gems you have around your area that maybe our viewers and listeners might not know about?
So
I'm going to take
I
notes.
I think I'm a little bit different than most people.
Okay.
My wife and I absolutely love entertaining. So
Okay.
I think my first hidden gem is actually my backyard,
Okay.
where my homemade smoker is. My wife and I love entertaining.
Now,
family
listen,
and
we've got a
friends.
few viewers, Rod. We've got a few listeners and a few viewers. you better not give out your address. If you smoke meats, man, you could have people rocking up on your doorstep. But so you're bragging about your barbecuing and your smoking skills. Is that what I'm hearing here?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Well, good for you. Good for you. But for the rest of the population that you don't know and you don't want rocking up to your back door, can you recommend the second best smoked meats place, maybe? Or can you recommend a place you like to hang out in the Nashville metro that's not your backyard?
So I don't actually go out a lot, but one thing that I like to do is there's a shooting complex.
Okay.
And it's actually not in the Nashville area. It's actually in Montgomery County near Clarksville. It's this huge park where they have a rifle, shotgun, handgun ranges. And I actually love spending time at Montgomery County Shooting Complex.
Okay. Montgomery County. And folks, we'll get the details for that. That's northwest of Nashville, right? Clarksville,
Yes.
Up by Clarksville area.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll get some information from you when we're not recording, and we'll put that in the show notes so people know. Okay. So by that, do you have a preference? So I'm a handgun guy, but do you have a preference on what you like to shoot?
Probably my Smith & Wesson M&P 15. It's
I can
it's
see
an
that.
AR-15. It's got a nice amount of weight to it. Not a huge kick, and it's just all around fun to shoot.
Right. I like to tell the story to all my Australian friends that, most of them don't use guns, afraid of guns. Guns are basically banned in Australia. And I came over here as anti-gun guy in 1990 and then got smart eventually and became pro-gun guy. And my wife bought me an AR-15 for Christmas one year. And they're like, your wife bought you a gun? Like, what sort of country do you live in? That's why there's so many I'm like, shut your mouth and go away. Like, I don't want to talk about it. You're not going to change your mind. I'm not going to change my mind. Let's just leave it lie. We'll agree to disagree. But, the fact that my Kansas wife, American girl, born and bred, and we've been married 32 years, and she bought me an AR-15 for Christmas. I'm like, you can't love a woman anymore, like
Yeah.
she was like, she ticked all the boxes that year. I can tell you that.
Awesome.
So shooting. So what's something else that you do when you're not working?
So I will give you a hidden gem when it comes to food. So I actually, my W-2 job is in Lewisburg.
Okay.
And there is this little tiny shop called Donut Shop.
Okay.
Very, very, very Lewisburg Donut Shop.
Okay.
Pretty generic name for a restaurant.
Yep.
However, they make these these marvelous donuts in addition to some Southeast Asian cuisines. So they'll do some noodles, they'll do fried rice, and this lady is an absolute whiz when it comes to making food. So if y'all are in the Lewisburg area and you're looking for a nice Asian dish or a really, really good donut, stop by the Lewisburg Donut Shop.
Okay. I go down to Lewisburg quite a lot because most of my Indian friends, dot not feather, that play cricket, the cricket fields that we play at are in Lewisburg. So it was the cheapest place to buy land, and they built the cricket fields down in Lewisburg. And so, yeah, that'd be great for me. Okay, you got one more. We need to deliver 3 every show. So you got, other than your backyard, which we're not going to invite.
Not including my backyard. Hey, if you come to my backyard, you will get an absolute kick out of my wife telling her stories about growing up in the Amazon jungles of Brazil.
Okay.
So, hey.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, how about we set up a time for my wife and I to come to your backyard, and then I can report back to all our viewers and listeners the cool stories. Or maybe we should just have your wife on here sometime. That would work great too, right? Maybe your wife and your daughter. So we'll have to figure that out offline, folks. Looks like I'm going to have to make a trip to Rod's place and report on his smoking abilities.
You're more than welcome to come.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I was inviting myself anyway. So, okay. So tell me a little bit more about the shop. What sort of clients are you looking for? You're saying that you'd like some more commercial clients. What sort of things do you help commercial clients with? Batteries, obviously. I mean, like, that was a dumb question, Edward. But what sort of clients are you looking for? Like fleet trucks, fleet automobiles, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. But from a lighting standpoint, there's a ton of general contractors out there, and some of them actually struggle with managing and ordering and delivering the lighting aspects of the contract. And so one of the things that Batteries Plus can do is we can take your drawings and quote the entire lighting job based on the drawings. If the drawing has specific product information or part information,
Right.
that comes from a specific vendor, we can actually quote like part numbers or similar parts. So from a lighting standpoint, there's a lot of benefits that we can provide general contractors. But yeah, fleet customers from that have big truck and automobile fleets, schools, a lot of them have not upgraded from the older lighting technologies to LED. So
Right. That can be a big cost savings too there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we do device repair. So a lot of these schools are now getting into the technology side
Right.
of things. And so
Laptops,
have
tablets. Yeah.
exactly. We can repair their laptops and tablets, janitorial services with the big scrubber batteries.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a number of products that we can provide for those commercial customers.
That's great. Yeah, because I never think of lighting from Batteries Plus, but you guys do all that as well. So, folks, there is so much stuff that Rod's shop offers, store, however you like to refer to it. Definitely check him out. Definitely check out and go talk to his daughter, the store manager there. And if you have a broken device and you're in the Spring Hill area, they can certainly help you out with that. Is there anything I've forgotten there, Rod, as just a shout out for what you do?
Just a quick reminder. Some people come in the store and they come up to the counter and they stare behind the counter and go, I didn't even realize y'all sold car and truck batteries. So I just want to say to everybody, we do sell car and truck batteries, aside from power sport batteries for snowmobiles, ATVs, motorcycles, four-wheelers. We have deep cycle batteries for wheelchairs, mobility devices. We do key fob programming also, Ed. And so if you're walking around with a key that's dangling from your fob, or your fobs have broken, sometimes you don't even have to get pay for an entire new programming of a fob. Sometimes you can just come and have the shell replaced. So there's many essentials that we can cover there at the store.
Awesome. Hey, Rod, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I think we got everything covered. Our viewers and listeners will let me know if I screwed up on something. But it's been great having you on the show. And as things progress, come back and tell us what's moving and shaking in the world of Rod.
Yes, sir. I'm already looking forward to it.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.